Hello everyone, and welcome to session 68 of Pokerole. We're a little late today because just a lot of crap happened today, so nothing one could control about that really. But we are here now, and we're able to do a session. I don't know, it'll probably be a shorter session, but, you know, that's fine. But, of course, before we fully begin, discuss our recap and all that, I, of course, would like to say that if you enjoyed the video, do think about giving a like. Especially if the intro track was there. Hi there, how you doing? Do think about giving the video a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, well, think about doing that as well. And if you haven't come on over by Twitch, think about doing that in particular, because I'm trying to reach partner and need more viewers to do it. So whether you want to lurk or talk, think about coming by. I also have a pretty cool Discord community if you want to check that out, and I have a Ko-fi link if you want to help directly monetize my content. So check out all those links in the description if you're interested. Also, I should mention again that we now have a wiki for Pokerole. It still is in development. Feel free to add to it. Check it out there. Again, link in the description. But with that, I just realized that the last Pokerole video didn't have that link to the wiki in the description. Well, better late than never.
I think it was also like the first video that the wiki existed prior to.
Yeah, growing pains. I have to remember to like add stuff. Once I get it down to a habit, it's not so bad, but
yeah, it's not something to worry about too much.
Not a big deal. I can do it in post.
But hello, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well, or is at least okay to some degree. Especially since I know things have been rough lately.
A little bit all over the place.
But last time, relatively simple recap, actually. Brooke and Riley decided to have a spar, so that's what we started off with. And while they were sparring, it was Tucker and Ralph who walked off and ended up coming across a pair of Palpitoads who seemed kind of aggressive, but nothing came of it, thankfully. Though it appeared as though they only came around due to the sounds of battle in their area. Not that they stuck around particularly long. Especially after the rest of the team decided to gather. But once everyone was situated, they went on their way and made it to the Drizzle Woods proper, where it seems to almost always be raining in some capacity. The trees grow tall with broad leaves so that even when the rain is light, it still constantly drips and drizzles down, cascading over those leaves and onto the muddied forest floor. But it was here in the woods that Riley stopped and made a confession of sorts to the rest of Team Cheer. Confessing to what he considered to be the murder of 4 other Pokemon during the time that Tiber possessed it, prior to the Cave of Mirrors. Perhaps surprisingly, Tiber manifested a projection, and rather than excuses, provided explanations. Not that anyone was particularly happy to see him, mind you. But there was a heartfelt moment with everyone, and also a moment where Ralph once again tried to rip Tiber out of Riley to no effect. But I know he's going to keep trying, and maybe one day he'll succeed. But
Say again, a moment where I what?
A moment where you tried to rip Tiber out of Riley.
Yes.
Yes, though you did not succeed. Maybe one day you will, or you'll figure out a way to separate Riley from his mentor, question mark?
Tucker also had a few choice words for Tiber, I recall.
Yes. Oh, an absolutely bonkers idea came to me between sessions.
I remember this idea. And as I recall telling you, you don't have the materials or tools, but if you acquire them, I will let you try. Because I applaud that idea and thinking. And who knows, you might have some of the basis for it back in Savantown, considering the things Mawile is researching. Might also be a reason to do some of Mawile's expeditionary requests. Anyway, towards the end of the session, Ralph moved away from the others while they were having more heartfelt moments with Riley and reassuring him. And Ralph finally got to meet the observer that I have colloquially begun to call Mercury. The Silver Being. And it spoke very briefly with Ralph and left him with something. A star metal piece, as it's called in Ralph's inventory. Almost like a sort of fanciful USB stick in size and design. Not that it has any seams or anything that would indicate it has any other function than to be decorative. But we ended with the party basically reconvened and ready to head through the Drizzle Woods.
Which I was reminded that we have a lovely rain 3-hour thing from the Kyrio shared, so I'm put that back on.
Oh, perfect.
I do need to collect a bunch of wood while we're here. Don't let me forget.
Say, why is that?
Why do you want wood from here?
Because I need wood.
What wood?
Riley,
How many rows are there?
Riley's current objective: get wood.
Yeah, playing Minecraft.
You do not want wood from the Drizzle Woods. You want it from the Muted Glade, which you are not in.
Damn.
If you still want to collect wood from here, that's fine, but it's damp.
Oh, I remember now. Music made from a soundless grove. He's referring to that.
Yep. That is Riley's side quest. And
Yes.
I suppose anyone else's, but...
Yes, this Drizzlewood's not that place. Drizzlewood's this other cool place.
Yeah, I guess there is kind of sound happening in this grove.
Yeah.
It is drizzling.
Don't worry, we'll get to that other cool dungeon where you can get wood later.
You can probably do it on your way back.
I think that was the general idea, actually. Things to do on the way back. Pick up lily pad creature. Talk to
And a tree.
seamstress. Yeah. And then get you wood.
We need to adopt a new potty pet now that Lizard has gone well beyond being the potty pet. Now we need a pet.
You want the Silent Forest, this is just the Moist Meadow. Oh gosh, no. I ban you from using those words together again. No. Gosh, that made my bones crawl. I don't have bones, I'm all fluff.
Concerning.
The words are in the in-game chat there.
I mean, at least one of you tried to tame a wild Lotad.
Yeah, it was Riley. So, for some reason, the A+ recruiting of dudes to this team.
But one thing I will do.
Oh, he's casting us out.
Yes, I am, because
Oh. Oh yes, dungeon. This is we reached Drizzlewoods proper, not just a grove outside of Drizzlewoods.
Riley's the Beastmaster, which is indeed funny because Brooke was the trainer in his previous life. But yes, you all have reached. Where's the party icon?
I hope the rain sound effect is subtly in the background for you guys watching. I tried to adjust it just right. I really can't get over how nice this song is. It's just, you could loop this forever. It would sound nice all the same.
Well, you might get tired of it eventually.
I don't think I would.
Nice.
I think it would take a very long time for me to actually get tired of it. I guess eventually.
Yes, I still don't want to have like 6 sessions of this music going.
Sure, same. I like variety, but
So for now, you all are currently standing in a somewhat wider open space. And you can see there's definitely a few kind of animal trails is the best description I can give of what it looks like. Places where the damp trees and ferny undergrowth have been tamped down and pushed away by wild Pokemon frequently coming and going. Wait, do we have the weather icon? I need the weather icon.
oh yeah.
Weather icon. Sorely unused because there is one weather around here, dry.
Let's see. What was our objective? Was Drizzlewoods is simply a thoroughfare for us? I believe. I don't think we were going
It
here
is.
specifically.
You are heading north.
Yes. So
That doesn't mean there isn't stuff around.
The weather is somewhat predictably rainy. Let me pull out the weather thing so we can reference that. I think it's in here.
Water moves are stronger, fire moves are not. Prepare to be wet.
Here you go.
Brooke is now overpowered.
Yep. All water type moves have 1 extra die. All fire type moves get their total damage reduced by 1. And moves that become complete heal with sunny weather will restore only 1 HP instead.
Sunny day is fucked.
I mean, you're thinking of photosynthesis.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. That's a move that's a heal move that requires sunny weather, which I'm not sure if there's more than.
Though,
one
I mean,
move for
if
that.
any of you have Sunny Day, you're free to try and use it here.
None of us have any way to manipulate the weather.
Stares at Ralph.
Okay. Ralph has a way to manipulate the weather, but I am not gonna stand here while he attempts to roll that on the RNG dice. We'll end up with hail.
This is definitely Brooke's go-to dungeon, though.
We gotta just find Brooke wandering out here and just laying in the water. Okay, 1 damage die adds up. That's 0.5 more damage.
I mean, it can mean the difference between a plink and actually decent damage. So.
Oh hey, I hit my steps goal. My phone was very keen on telling me that.
Nice.
You hit your
I
what?
set the goal as a number I should never reach in a day. It was meant to be unachievable.
Wait, what did you do?
No.
I set my steps goal to what should be an unachievable number.
What number is that?
25,000 steps.
In one day?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how your legs don't hurt.
Oh, they do. What do you mean?
Fair enough.
In any case, you all are free to move the party token, or at the very least, Brooke is free to move the party token, if you wish to continue guiding yourselves through the wood, and I can describe as we go.
After you, fearless crocodile.
That way Brooke does not have to constantly chat out what happens.
That's actually good. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. Though of course,
Okay,
you can
I've got a
set.
very important question. How do stairs work in this place?
I'm gonna guess like forests have inclines as such.
Okay, Smeagol.
Forest. Oh gosh, that doesn't work.
You gotta
Ignore
add
the gap.
Smeagol.
There's no gap.
There's a Smeagol NPC now. Can I make it happen?
I don't need to make it happen.
Hills
Take
was the
that
word.
as you will.
Yes, hills was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Well, as you travel in this direction, you find your path blocked by one of the larger trees that has, on what would be on the right side of the tile over here, that has fallen over and ended up toppling its neighbors somewhat over it. And they've kind of started growing that way. So it means that one of them is kind of bent awkwardly over one tree that has fallen over. And has started to grow up again, creating a sort of low-hanging umbrella of leaves.
That's kind of cool.
Yep. There is also a muddy and kind of gravelly incline nearby as well. That looks like it leads further up into the forest.
I mean, how easy does it look like to climb this fallen tree, or can we like still squeeze under it?
You would not be able to squeeze under it. The fallen tree is
Like,
flat on the
fully
ground,
fallen on
and
the
it
ground?
has another tree that is partially toppled over it, and has begun to grow back up.
I mean, I've climbed a lot of trees in my life, and I take this as a challenge.
Smeagol the Smeagol.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
No. I have ultimate power here, and I choose no. But if you want to attempt to climb it, I can't stop you.
What do you think, Brooke? Are we going over?
First challenge of the not dungeon.
Whoa.
It's a dungeon. What you talking about?
Oh yes, after the horribly depressing talk we just had, Brooke is full of energy.
I mean, to be fair, Brooke isn't usually this wet.
That's a good point.
And also, to be fair, if people are depressed, he generally wants to kind of pep them up. So.
Alright, well, if you're going to climb over the tree, please give me a Dex Survival Athletic.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like. Who are you rolling for? Oh, the prince, right?
I am rolling for Zeal.
Okay, well, Riley will stay down here and lift the quadrupeds up.
Tucker will attempt a leap.
Tucker
will
does a
do-
way better job than the prince.
Tucker will do a decent job at a leap.
So, Brooke, you're realizing that at your height, climbing over this thing might be a mild inconvenience, but, I mean, it's raining a lot, you have extra energy, this is fine. You don't have much issue doing it. Tucker leaps on top of the fallen tree after you. I have yet to see Ralph's roll, so I don't know if Ralph is trying or not.
Most likely he did. I think Poochie is still technically. You don't see them with claws, but they probably have like doggo nails. So he probably scratched into the tree bark to climb it. Gives himself some grip.
Wait, fucking dingo.
Dingo?
I mean, that would be appropriate.
I feel like Ralph can do this. He can stomp his way up.
Cat stomp? Okay, let's see.
Oh, like,
Dex.
dig his little feet in.
What is your Dex Survival Athletic roll? It's the same as Tucker's, actually.
I mean, he does have those claws on his feet. He can probably use them like pythons.
True.
But the prince hops a little bit and paws at the log, and then is like, "Nyeh," and tries to stand underneath the leaf umbrella.
Yeah, I'm gonna make him attack.
Brooke may be full of energy, but honestly, Prince Zeal might be the opposite in this situation.
Rather than just lift Zeal over.
So, I have a question. Is Ralph actually going to do the whole foot stabby thing?
Well, no, I mean, he's gonna try and dig his feet in there real good.
Okay. Well, Ralph isn't going to have any trouble either. Believe it or not, you are in your species' natural element, aside from the rain.
Perhaps, Kyrio.
Unenergetic zeal is an oxymoron. Yes, it is. So Riley, do you want to help Zeal over the log?
Yeah, I feel like I have to.
With your strength score, I'm not even going to make you bother rolling unless you want to.
Nah, I'll just take the free win.
This is fine. You can easily just pick Zeal up and even, like, fireman carry him if you want to climb over.
I'll just sling him over my shoulder
Yeah.
and climb, yeah.
I was
Tucker-
thinking throw him like a football to the top.
Tucker looks mildly proud that he didn't need to be tote bagged up by Riley this time, unlike Zeal.
Yeah, Zeal is finally feeling the effects of being sluggish because, as I described in the previous session, his mane has kind of gone out. And anyone who gets that reference gets an internet cookie.
Hey, who put up my hair?
Yo, that is handy.
Tis a pit.
It is a minor pit. It looks like that at some point, something tried digging a den in this area, possibly in Ursaring or something else, and sort of gave up because of all the muddy ground making it unstable. You can even see across this relatively deep divot in the earth that there is remnants of what was an attempted den on the other side. But most of it looks like it's relatively stable because of all the tree roots going through it. And that may be one of the reasons that all this rain hasn't just absolutely ruined the landscape, is because of all the trees here keeping things stable. But this divot is something that you all could probably just climb down in and climb up, no problem.
Yeah. Or if it's not too wide, Ralph will walk around.
It's not terribly wide. Mildly inconvenient to walk around, but, you know, like I said, there's a bunch of tree roots.
And I, before Brooke starts to go across or around or whoever the heck, Brooke intends on getting her. Can I have Riley just, you know, have him wait for everyone else to go first?
I mean, yeah?
You know, like grab the shoulder and just have him wait.
Oh. You're asking Burke to wait until everyone else has gone first?
Yes.
Tucker's just gonna go ahead and move forward, so you can do that, I suppose.
I wonder what you're planning.
Actually, Tucker will take a second to sniff at this uncompleted den, just see if anything was left there.
Bees!
Bees.
A bunch of beetle swarm out.
You say that. I will do Burke's line in just a second, but, like, ground bees are a thing. Now imagine that, but bee drill.
It's horrific.
That is not a great idea. That's not a great concept.
Congratulations, it now exists.
Oh, dude, ground-type beedrills.
That would actually be pretty neat. Anyway.
Savanian beedrills, they're part ground.
Oh, so we want to get a regional variant for this region?
I could manage that at some point. Could be Durance? No, it is not Durance. This was a larger Pokemon. Unfortunately, there is no scent for Tucker to catch, because it's been a while, and unfortunately, the rain messes with things. It makes tracks hard to follow. It makes scents hard to catch. And for that reason, it might actually be mildly dangerous to stay here, because any predatory Pokemon that knows its way around these woods would probably be better off than anyone trying to track it.
That logic does hit Tucker's, senses, as he notices. Indeed, he's having trouble finding these senses. But yeah. Anything in the den, or is it just completely barren?
It's empty. There's tree roots going through it, but it doesn't look like there's anything particularly in it. You could actually go into the part on the opposite side and check yourself. Let me do Brooke's line.
Yes.
As Brooke is about to hop in, they stop as Riley taps him on the shoulder. Huh? What's up?
Well, you understand how I feel about everything, Brooke. And I appreciate it. You get why it's so hard for me to just move on.
Brooke nods. Hey, no problem. I kind of know how you feel, I guess.
I think that's a conversation we'll need to have some point in the future, Brooke. Let's get going. Riley will slide down and go over.
Tucker is kind of sticking close to Zeal. Partially because he sees that Zeal is not exactly full of energy in this environment, but also after the conversation they had a little bit ago, he's kind of just wanting to keep an eye on Zeal. And then perhaps observe him too.
Aside from being mildly sluggish and not nearly so flamboyantly fiery, Zeal seems mostly fine. It's almost as if Brooke stole some of Zeal's energy, if that makes any sense.
How rude.
Says the Riolu who can steal people's energy. Kind of.
And, but I don't know how.
I say, with Ralph who can actually steal people's energy.
Yeah, leave me alone. I haven't learned any sort of fancy drain powers.
I can give it to other people even.
But yeah, Zeal makes it across, but he struggles a bit. Mostly because he's not used to this muddy sort of ground, but thankfully the roots and gravel help. So Tucker, did you want to actually check out the remaining intact portion of the den, or no?
Well, given that two of the party did have a moment of conversation, he definitely has the time to do so. So I will actually take that opportunity, yes. Tucker is curious. He likes to poke around and check things out in the environments.
This is how we end up with bees.
Do you really think I'd have any flying Pokemon here?
Yes.
How many water flying Pokemon are there?
I can think of at least one duck.
Wingull!
One seagull.
That would be
Ducklet!
appropriate to the environment.
Cramorant! I think those are all.
See, Cavern would actually be kind of fitting for this environment.
No.
On the
Cavern
real,
would be more fitting for like a lake.
Are you sure
on
you
the
want to
real,
say
Windows
that?
actually
Are you
one
sure
of
you
my
want to?
favorite Pokemon.
Weren't you like pointing out at some point that how many different Pokemon have wanted to eat Riley, and you want to bring up Crabrant now? Okay, sure.
Yeah, but Cramorant's almost guaranteed to spit Riley out.
True.
I don't think Riley tastes good.
Speaking of, somebody roll a Doom die when Tucker goes to investigate.
Why is that a speaking of situation? Hello? Excuse me?
Alright, the big eater Pokemon should roll the Doom die for that.
Also, I want to point out that Chris actually did some art. Brooke. So there we go.
So Tucker, as you go to investigate, you see that there's tufts of what look like damp, fluffy stuff. Oh, yes, Brooke. Yes. Pleasing. There's what looks like kind of damp, fluffy stuff that's been caught in some of the roots. And when you squint real hard, you notice that sleeping in the back is a cottony.
Oh. Well, when Tucker observes that, he's just going to slowly back away. Not that he's particularly intimidated necessarily by Cottony, but let sleepy Mons lie.
I do, actually.
A forest Gyarados? Huh. Like maybe in a forest pond Gyarados, I guess?
No, Gyarados are water flying.
Yeah.
Weirdest typing for that creature. Anyway. I mean, I could do it, but also it's not on the list, so... It has not been permitted to this VIP club.
I will say it's good that Tucker has dark vision so that he can actually have seen that Cottony before walking on top of it.
Well, as you all make your way away from the den, through a clearer patch of earth and trees... Oh, it just wants to give me all the pits, doesn't it?
You said about the tree roots holding the ground in this place together. I'm starting to feel like that may not necessarily have been true.
No, this is fine. Honestly, this is probably more rainforesty territory, but, you know, it's not... Okay, well, it's still humid because rain, but it's not so bad because, well, it is currently raining. You're also further north. As you travel further in the forest, you notice off to your side there's a steep decline where the trees sort of grow kind of diagonally, and it definitely looks like very recently there may have been some sort of mudslide or natural event that caused a shift in the forest here. It does not look like if you slip down that side, it would be easy getting back up.
I mean, I successfully climbed into a pit full of zombies, so I feel like I can handle this.
Off to your left, there is a veritable screen of ferns and underbrush and trees, but if you so decided to try, you could probably push through them and trek away from this animal trail to find another path.
Fearless Leader has made his choice.
Terrain here sure is interesting, Brooke says, already climbing onto a trunk. Watch your step. So, based on that description, if you guys want to slide down the mudslide area, you can. But this is basically me telling you you can follow the path that looks like it has a gap in it or you can go right or left from this tile if you choose.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly... Oh, wow, that tile's upside down.
I would presume that since Brooke is climbing on trucks, he's going pretty much the visible path of this.
I mean, I kind of vibe with what Kyrio is saying. We should just all try and go across, and if somebody ends up in the pit, then we should just go into the pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is very one way. It's kind of a last option, but yeah.
I mean, I could carry the undexterous of us over the thing, and that probably wouldn't be too difficult.
Tucker will take his time going across the fallen trunks and such.
I will duffel bag Zeal.
He will stay low to the bark and just make it so he doesn't slip, because everything is probably wet, obviously, and wet wood can be slippery. So
You all
God
should
damn
have... sorry.
No, it's fine. I just realized I. Never mind.
Okay. As long as you're okay. But to respond to that, Kyrio, you all should have some basic supplies. This includes rope. Because I seem to recall you all acquired some basic supplies and rations from Blaze. It's like adventurers not having the 10-foot ladder, even though that comes in a lot of adventuring packs, for some reason.
The last 10-foot ladder.
It's true, you could tie yourselves together if you wanted to.
So, what is the current terrain on this next tile?
I want somebody to roll me a doom die.
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, we should probably just tie the rope around ourselves to keep ourselves together anyway.
6.
Makes it a bit more difficult for us to get, picked off.
Huh.
So, as you all continue forward into the forest, you notice that you've come across a section of trees that it doesn't look like it's raining as hard in this area. And I would like you all to make a insight survival alert check, please. The prince will not do so because the prince is being the prince right now, and he's complaining about how wet it is.
Don't worry, Prince. Odds are okay, it's not terrible.
It's okay, just let me get this better. Yeah, that's better.
Now we just need Ralph to get either a 5 or a 1, and we'll have a full line here.
Get the party straight.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, yeah, 5, yeah.
All successes and 1 success. Yeah! We got it straight.
Wait, what? How's that straight?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh.
Ralph got a 1, Riley got a 2.
Talking about poker.
Oh, I see it.
Yep.
I'm just dumb.
That is unfortunate, but at least 6 is unmitigated. So, the two of you who actually noticed this are Burke and Tucker, almost unironically enough. Burke and Tucker, since this scenery is actually fairly pretty and much more enjoyable than the rest of the Plains continent, at least for Brooke. I don't know how Tucker feels about being consistently damp.
It is both a little bit annoying, but it's refreshing and clean water, so he's not too bothered by it.
Well,
It's better than the damn humidity from earlier.
Yes, and at least you have the solace that any mud that gets on you is being washed away as you speak.
Yes. Muddy paws are not stained muddy, which is good. That was kind of annoying when he was kicked through mud that other trip.
Yeah, well, you all are currently kind of walking through enough mud to make a Mudsdale blush. But in any case, Burke and Tucker, you sort of look around and you notice there's these little glistening dewdrop formations on the trunks of several trees as you pass them by. And they draw your eyes upward to this network of them, just hanging in the air, and more drizzled water coming down from the leaves, trailing along semi-invisible lines. And you notice a stirring in one of the trees as a particularly large bubble starts to jiggle and move.
Oh! I think I get it. Well, since Tucker's probably the first one to notice, yeah.
Spiderweb, Brooke points out. Try not to disturb it if you don't have to. And almost as Brooke says that, when the rest of you look up, you see that very slowly and delicately, there are dew-piters that are quietly and gingerly trailing themselves over these invisible lines. And there are several of them. They're up in the branches and leaves, but they also feel kind of uncomfortably close. And it's almost surreal, the fact that they make no sound over the rain, and they don't even disturb the water that is stuck to their lines.
Hate that.
Elegant.
In fact, what light filters through the treetops kind of gets refracted in the bubbles that are around their heads, making this very strange and ambient lighting in the area.
That is actually pretty cool.
I'm really glad Riley doesn't see all of this.
I mean, Brooke pointed it out.
I'm really glad I'm not looking.
Tucker watches a little bit, find it a little bit pretty, but he is also very aware they could be dangerous, so he kind of keeps his head down and moves slowly.
I will summon the sword, just in case.
Brooke is enamored with the entire forest. Gonna move here, are you? I see, so Riley is already calling out the
I am ready to cut spider webs in case these fuckers try anything.
Okay. Go ahead and do your special fight channel. Since you are bringing that out. You have no problem drawing the sword from the half shell. It's still pink, by the way.
And I figure that's not going to change anytime soon.
Be a hero.
Is anybody else doing anything in particular to this revelation of, oh my god, there's giant water spiders above us?
Tucker,
I've seen The Hobbit. Fuck that.
Upon noting that Riley is trying to prep a move just in case, Tucker does a little bit of a shrug, and a somewhat passive, but nonetheless there, cloud of a dark pulse starts to form above the party a bit. Almost like
rapidly losing control of the situation.
Oh no.
Tucker, I don't think spoilers see with their eyes, they see with their mouth. They smell. Isn't that right?
What?
What?
You do realize that spiders have crazy numbers of eyes, right?
I don't know anything about spiders.
Well, hang on. Go ahead and explain, Tubby.
I was thinking, like, man, I should tell Tucker that, you know, the spider doesn't really care if it's dark because it doesn't see with its eyes. But does it? I might be thinking of different animals.
They can see, but oh
Thinking of
goodness.
snakes.
Why is Tucker rolling?
That was actually for the dark pulse I was talking about.
Oh.
So what Tucker's doing is simply forming an ambient cloud that's kind of just hovering above the party. Somewhat blocking the light, unfortunately, but it's a passive field. It's no threat to the spiders as long as the spiders are no threat to them.
Hey, relax. They won't do anything if we don't mess with them, Burke says. Well, this is just all going down at once. It may seem like disparate actions, but this is all just like all at once. And as you all are doing this, one of them, closer to the ground, stops. And it swings gracefully to hang upside down from a thread, trailing another one down to an even closer thread, closer to the ground, and it's watching you as it does this, and water droplets begin to trail down this new spiderweb channel.
I'll wave to it. How's it going? We're just passing through, okay?
I'll be paranoid, Brooke, but me and basically every single thing that could be even slightly considered a predator seem to have a very bad track record.
Another one notices after the first,
Oh god.
and
Oh,
it begins very
interesting.
quietly, in that same eerie, almost beautiful, silent manner, travel down one of the tree trunks. And yes, Tucker's Dark Pulse, it's just an ambient cloud in preparation.
How's it going? I'm gonna ask him.
I don't know if they speak.
Both you guys, we're just passing through. I'm gonna tip my hat to him. Yo, yeah, no trouble.
I think the more you talk, the more are gonna notice us. so
You
please
notice
stop.
a third one that's traveling higher up, making another line from tree to tree, doing a single graceful leap between the branches.
I'm just gonna keep walking. Okay, see you later. We got somewhere to be. Let's go talking to you. I'm just gonna.
Alright, somebody keep like right next to the prince as well. I have a bad feeling about the prince.
Well, if they start anything, then you can say, I told you so, Brooke says, following Ralph.
Bag.
Weirdly enough, Zeal hasn't been babbling his head off this entire time. He's just, mildly mewling and complaining about, oh gosh, it's so wet, I hate this. I thought I would like it, but I don't. Less wet, please. Oh, I see, you are looking for Dewpider. Yes. So for those who've never seen Dewpider, that is Dewpider.
Oh.
I figured I could pull it. It's just going to pull it out just for if I could provide a visual reference. Why not?
I hate it so much.
I don't know how big they are.
Do
but I assume
look
it's
like a
fat.
spider.
I actually don't know
They're
how
1
big
foot
they are for
tall.
reference.
They are not
They are
big.
1 foot tall?
1 foot tall.
And how tall is Tucker? Tucker's about a foot tall, so yeah, they're tall as Tucker.
This one's pretty accurately sized.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I did kind of place it right.
Hang on.
They're a little bit weird and a little bit cute.
Well, that's because, 3 of their legs are bracing their little bubble.
I'm gonna observe this. Wait a
Oh yeah,
minute.
let me promote you. There you go. If you want to clone them, you do that now.
You're not a Dewpider. You're a dew insect. Oh, it must be terrible being misspecied.
Oh, 6 legs.
Oh, quiet you.
You're forgetting the pedipalps. In any case, it doesn't matter, Pokemon. Doing 8 legs for a model or a design of any kind is very difficult. At least not without making it look like a mess. So, Ariados and stuff are definitely supposed to have, 8 legs and be actual arachnids, but they only have 4 because, 8 would be too much.
Yeah.
But yeah. So as someone who's had to draw anthro spiders, I agree. 8 limbs makes things difficult. Yes. There are ways to make very multi-limbed characters look good, but it is not any easier.
Yeah, you put like 2 on each side up high and 2 on each side down
Same
low.
principle as anyone who has tried to draw a kitsune with all 9 tails. It eventually devolves into, okay, I'm just going to make them overlap and repeat.
Yeah. Or I like anthro spider designs that are 2 arms on each side and then just 2 legs on each side.
Those are
Those
wonky,
look-
but I don't dislike.
Those look nice.
In any case, I take it you all are leaving?
Well, what are they doing?
Well, they're watching for now, but the longer you stay there, the more of them begin to congregate as they notice you.
Then
Yeah, let's get the fuck
then
out of
just
here.
casually
Yeah, I'm just
walk,
walking along.
just kind of warily walk past them and get out of their territory. I suppose is what Tucker would do.
Yeah. Every time I get really close to one and be like, how's it going? Just passing through. We love your bubble. You just keep walking.
Yep, and, Brooke and whoever, feel free to move your little party token.
Oh, a pit.
As the situation resolves itself, Tucker's fog just dissipates into the mist of the rain. Let me get that token out of the way for you.
Yep.
There we go.
And just to be clear, this is an actual forest. You can go off the beaten path for the most part. It's just the tiles are providing a decent guide to the easiest path.
Yeah. There is danger and... Well, it's slower and possibly more dangerous to just break through the thicker brush.
It is, and I require checks if you're going to do that.
One can presume that if one follows a natural animal trail, that will probably lead through the forest.
Probably. So one thing you're noticing... By the way, can we see any sign at all of the ice type here? So here's the interesting part, as I was about to tell you. As you move further into the forest, you notice it does get colder. And the rain begins to vary a bit more in its intensity. Getting a bit heavier the deeper you go, but occasionally it does let up a bit and it's lighter, or there's little plinks of hail mixed in between. And you're all going to start to realize that, oh no, you're wet, and you are going to be going into an area that is cold.
Yep, that's the easiest way to get early onset hypothermia.
But as you all make it past the dew-piter layer of sorts, you come across a somewhat flatter area that looks like perhaps it's some sort of small grove with a few trees that are bent at odd angles, broken probably from natural weather or occurrences or maybe even other Pokemon, such in a way that their branches help form a more coherent canopy, making it so that there's a section in the corner, I'll move the token there to indicate it, where it's not as damp and muddy at the moment. Even though it still drips here and there. And as you approach this glade, there's a deep and distant rumbling sound. Almost like distant thunder.
Which direction is the rumbling coming from?
The sky.
Oh, cool, great.
Sounds like rain. Brooke jokes.
Do you still have that magnet on you, Tuck?
Zeal walks over to Brooke and with a muddy paw just boof on Brooke's snout. Zeal
How
is
could he even reach?
squinting.
How could he even get up that high? That's just impressive.
He hopped.
To Riley's statement, Tucker kind of pivots an ear to the thunder and looks at Riley before before removing the magnet again and tucking it very deep into his bag.
Anything that's like non-conductive, we can like wrap it in.
He does well. Not really. No.
No, we really don't, do we? We're not very prepared for anti-conductiveness, are we?
It's only in your bag, right?
Yeah.
You should be fine. It's not equipped.
I don't trust you.
That's fine. You're not supposed to trust me in
I
this
mean,
instance.
I physically unequipped it. So. There we go. He does not say any word. He does not say any words to Riley, but he definitely gives a tired look to the Riolu. Like,
So
yeah.
this is entirely a joke, but what if you dip the magnet in root salve and use it like a dipstick?
Seems like it's a good way to ruin your root salve, and also possibly your magnets.
It's a good way to learn Thunderfang, though.
the
To
idea
be fair, that's root salve. Please don't go ingesting it.
Do not eat the root salve.
Metal Dunkaroo.
I cannot stress this enough. Don't eat the root salve or the magnet.
Like I said, it's a joke.
Riley may have medical capacities here, but Jesus Christ, I don't think he can regrow teeth.
Yeah, no, Heal Pulse won't regrow teeth. And Fair has a good point. You could cover it in mud if you were really that worried.
Tucker doesn't take any other action aside from that, but he is now paying attention to the sky a little more raptly after what Riley said.
So, someone else gets to roll a Doom die who has not rolled before this session.
At least there's tree cover here, though.
Never mind. Brooke beat me to it. I'll take his. Take his roll.
We still don't know what a bad roll of a Doom die is, though.
You don't.
6
That's the
didn't
point.
get us any Salandit, so that was a bad roll.
It's probably just a table, yeah.
6 is Salandits.
Indeed. You also don't know which table I'm always looking
6
at.
is always Salandits. Yes.
Also, I hope nobody is miffed that I haven't really been using the traps from the PMD rulebook. It's just a lot of them require, like, smart or weirdly high rolls in order to escape. And I much prefer environmental puzzle over direct trap.
So, in what context in this world would there be fucking bear traps? Like actual bear traps.
It's bear traps in the middle of the woods. Just bam, 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 bam.
I've seen that episode of The Walking Dead. I'd rather not have that, thanks.
Oh, well, I was making a Dead by Daylight reference.
Somebody flip a coin.
Well, I guess I'll do it. Oh.
That didn't even roll properly, just spun.
There could be bear traps as long as they're not as long as there's not random hook stands.
So from out of a side path, trumps out a lombre that seems to be just humming its own tune, bobbing its head back and forth with its sombrero sloshing water this way and that, having gathered it almost like a kappa on its head. Where else do bear traps come from? Oh gosh. Ursaring traps made by Ursarings.
There's a Lombre here.
Yes, there's a lombre here.
Like, he seems like he's having a great time on his own. Just let him do his thing.
Well, if the lombre sees your group and seems to grow a bit agitated, glaring at you all since apparently you all have stolen its spot.
Spot? Oh.
I mean, we don't really plan on staying here for very long. I feel like this is an odd issue.
The Lombre motions at all of you aggressively, and the noise it makes draws a second one to its aid. And they start putting up their fists, kind of like old-timey fisticuffs.
Still has the sword activated, so I feel like they're a little fisticuffed here.
Oh, you kept that going? Okay.
And I shouldn't be watching the Castlevania anime, but I kind of like the idea of it just sort of floats beside him when he's not using it, like Alucard's sword.
I mean, if you want to use the shell to create a sword that can do that instead of the cloak.
Don't tempt me.
Brooke raises his hands. Oh, sorry. Were you here first? We were just passing by. So, Brooke, go ahead and roll a...
Yeah, 311.
cool contest and etiquette.
Good enough. Is okay. Let's see.
It is okay indeed. Unless Burke wants to try using something else to supplement that. One of the Lombre drops their arms. Oh dear, they aren't loading for you? I can see them just fine.
Oh, let me try. Try right. Can you see? Can you right click them? If you can right click them, you could try. Isn't there a way to refresh from that? There's a way to reload models. I forgot how you do it though.
In any case, one Lombre lowers their arms, the other one sort of squints. They seem to understand that this crocodile before them is trying to placate them in some manner. But they are currently eyeing the group warily.
Okay.
And no, fair, you would not be hindered by that. If anything, watching the anime will probably give you a better understanding of Castlevania.
Yeah, they don't explain themselves very well in the games.
Yeah, the games don't generally explain themselves particularly well.
The anime is so good.
It is.
So good.
It is so good, and apparently there's gonna be more.
Like
Yeah,
that studio is
that's-
apparently doing Berserk as well.
And that's actually not the first animated interpretation of Castlevania characters. So the Belmonts were characters in the absolute classic gem Captain N.
Don't watch that version.
Anyway, I consider this Castlevania anime one of, if not the best video game adaptation into a non-video game material I have ever seen.
Aw,
I
that
know-
is unfortunate.
That's very odd, huh?
It may be a client-side thing, but, you know, I'm not worried about it. We've noticed there's been a lot of client-side funkiness
Yeah.
with TDS, so... is Brooke going to do anything else to try and persuade the Lombre to let you guys leave peaceably?
Oh,
They also seem to be kind of standing in the way of the easiest path out, whether or not they are aware of it.
Tucker will react to Brooks' attempt at parlay. by... Let's see how this works out. Gotta do a roll. I'll explain it as I do it, after I do it. Yeah, it's eight dice for this. Lots of dice. How will it go? Okay.
Two.
Shrug. Tucker tries a disarming look with his eyes, using Baby Doll eyes. In this case, to demonstrate the "we mean you no harm" that Brooke is trying to express, he's trying to stack on top of that. Though I guess he's not quite sure what exact look to give these Lombre with this disarming stare. So perhaps it's not the most perfect of stares.
It's not a perfect disarming stare, but you haven't had a lot of practice with it on other Pokemon. You've mostly learned it from the kids, and you know that it works. The Lombre sort of observe Tucker a bit, and they seem to calm down, and they seem to decide, well, there might be room. So they start to shuffle off to the side to see if they can find more of the canopy to sit under, because their hats are full. So they do this sort of weird sideways crab walk shimmy thing.
Okay, good luck collecting more water.
Ralph, you're like 5 miles away when you said that.
Yeah, I feel like I heard what he said.
No, my mic was up, not down. I told them good luck with collecting more water. And I'm like, alright, let's go.
If they want to attack him for that, it wouldn't blame them, honestly.
I mean, they're obviously being very careful not to spill the water out of their hats, so they're collecting it.
Shall I assume you all are moving on? Or is there more you would like to do in this grove?
Also, to randomly answer Shinkido, I believe water would just drain out the back of their lily pads. There's a wedge after all, but
Yeah, and there's like little wedge bits off the side, but you know, that's just standard Lombre. They're supposed to look like lily pads. It's a defense mechanism, but they collect water.
I say we just get out of here.
Yep.
To
Continue the pacifist run.
Yeah, total pacifist run, which I'm fine with. It just means you aren't getting combat experience, which is fine.
Sobs and Lucky Egg really not being worth the investment.
I mean, you say this now. Also, you got that for free.
Yeah.
The investment of getting it for free.
The investment of Liz getting kidnapped.
Oh.
Orc is just enjoying himself too much to be aggressive, which is totally okay.
And Tucker is just not naturally aggressive, but on top of that, he does have in the back of his mind that they have a bit of a trek going on. If they're getting into fights all the time, it's going to make that trek harder and more exhausting.
Yes, it is. So to make it clear, the side nub on that tile is the side path that the Lombre came from. So there's also that path, which is clear, and there's the northern path. And I know I am taking a lot of liberties with the tiles this time, but they're just a basis.
That's fine. I consider them more to be something to inspire the DM to come up with a scene for the environment. A very basic framework so you can think of what to talk about.
Hey! That tile that doesn't really turn proper.
Yeah, this tile, yay!
I'm going to leave it right side up because that keeps my sanity going.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kyrio.
I wonder if your TTS needs an update.
Perhaps you need to reset the whole program.
Well, stay in the call for like a minute while I describe you guys getting to a transition, and then we can reload. So, as you move past the side path, there are several little lotads that peep and start toddling around you, and they go to the lambre. And they settle by the lambre and make little peeping noises, and the lambre gently tilt their hats and pour water onto the little lotads.
Okay, now that's adorable.
That seem very pleased with this. Oh, what's this about sanity? In any case, as the group forges on ahead, it gets colder and colder, and you're finding that the ground becomes less muddy and more like slush, and begins to rapidly transition out of rain and into snow.
Whether or not.
Oh, great. It's one of those dungeons that has the weather change every floor.
Oh, at least it didn't have freezing rain, which is honestly worse.
And the trees begin to change as well. The leaves are less broad and they're more coniferous in kind. As you make a relatively smooth transition from a muddy area to one where the ground is covered in a very light, fine, powdery coating of snow. And I need like a second to look up. So for now, we can leave the music up and people can take a water break because hydrate yourselves. And I can look up the name of this area so I can find out what music it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, Drizzle Woods is just a bit of a shorter dungeon then.
It is transitory.
It's like those, what were those transitory dungeons? And specifically PMD 1 had a lot of those where you could just loop back on a short dungeon if you want some items before moving to actual dungeons. It's like that kind of transitional. But also hail now, huh? Let's see here.
Hail would normally damage you. It's currently only snow, but I'm going to keep that weather up on purpose.
Okay. Probably would have been longer if we fought things. Good point, Kyrio. By the way, did reloading help things? The tile didn't load, no. Oh. Well, I could try reloading the whole table if needed. Alright. I mean, if enough things don't load, that might become problematic, but we'll see.
Alrighty. Do I have? I don't.
If you need any musical finding assistance, let me know.
I thought I had something prepared for this, but I don't. That's okay. We need...
We always have excess songs. Well, ideally.
We do. I need one that starts with an I. It may not be in Dungeons 2.
Is it a dungeon song?
It would be.
Okay, hold on. That's enough information for me to find it. Hold on. Let's see.
Uh, 21 Dungeon List 1.
Huh, that's weird. I have no dungeon song that starts with I. Okay.
Nope, Dungeon List 1. Number 21.
Alright. Do I turn off the raid sound effect I've been playing now?
Yes.
Wait, what?
I'm playing that in the background.
Oh, you swapped to Dungeon List 3, I see.
I don't know. I was just following wherever you sent me. Which list is it?
Dungeon 1.
1, okay. And which number is it?
21.
Oh, okay. That's weird. It wasn't on my list for some reason. Alright, there we go.
Brooke kind of frowns at the snow. Alright, this isn't as fun. Ralph, you are completely fine in this weather despite having been soaked earlier. It's a bit chilly, but, you know, you have natural insulation.
Didn't we, get Brooke some, like, cold gear for just such an occasion as the Brook being cold?
So, I believe, as was explained by Blaze, they don't really have cold gear. But he warned you guys about it. Ah, yes, scarf.
Not gonna be enough.
No. Unfortunately, Brooke, this is getting cold. And it's not the kind of cold that comes from being insulated by a lot of water. This is the frost kind of cold, and a lot of your scales are damp. So, what we're gonna do...
This is actually kind of a part 2 of the same... I assume this forest, this new area of the forest, it connects directly with Drizzlewoods, right? Like, it's a transitional of more of the environment, of the weather, not so much the trees. Though the trees are changing their species as well. Is it technically...
Don't worry about the stack of tiles.
That's quite fine. Would you say, basically, that this is 2 separate forests, or technically just one forest that transitions?
Technically, they're 2 separate forests.
Did you just create clones, by the way?
Yeah, it does that. Hang on.
Okay, I'll let you deal with that.
Maybe we should make a fire and try to dry off, Brooke says.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I mean, Riley's not exactly dressed for the cold either.
Even the floofable and somewhat pudgy Tucker is starting to shiver quite a bit now. He is particularly soaked. And thus...
Zeal looks like a bedraggled mess. If it were instantly colder, you would probably see icicles hanging off of his everywhere.
I guess we can't really count on him to set any fires up. Yeah, we should probably do that.
And suddenly a huge gout of flame comes from Prince Zeal that melts a patch of snow in front of you.
Never mind, indeed.
I am cold. I want to be warm again. I am the prince and I demand to be warm again. And he has his eyes scrunched up like he's trying to focus on making himself warm again.
Oops.
And like I said, Ralph, you're fine.
Yeah.
You aren't really sure why the rest of them are complaining because this weather isn't that cold.
Yeah, come on, guys. I mean, you guys are rough. I know, I'm not all that cold, so I guess I'll go get the firewood. You guys...
Brooke says, completely ignoring what... Or Ralph said, completely ignoring what Brooke put in the chat.
Tucker is not talking too much. He's actually shivering a little too much, perhaps.
Riley, help me find some dry wood, Brooke says. Go on.
No, you guys should stay and cuddle. The cold doesn't bother me, so you guys cuddle and share warmth, and I'll go get the firewood. I wish I wouldn't run every time I was picked up.
That's a goddamn emergency.
But yeah, go ahead with the rest of your description, Tucker. I'm sorry.
Oh, just namely that not really much else to say besides that Tucker will be occasionally trying to shake some of the water off, but it's really soaked into his fur. And he's probably getting a frost layer now on his fur.
It is starting to form. It is cold enough that, while your internal body heats are enough to keep the water from, like, freezing over fairly quickly, the longer you stay like this, the more likely it is you all are going to have a crunchy frost layer on yourselves.
Yeah, essentially, Ralph is going to insist that they stay together and pull warmth while he looks for firewood.
Riley, you in particular feel super cold on your arms. They already feel kind of numb, and there is a frost layer on the metal bits on your arms.
God, my metal just freezes faster. Great.
Yes, it does.
That would make sense, actually.
That does. I hate it.
Merc shrugs and takes a seat. Alright, let's get cozy.
And we all just try to cuddle Zelo. What's the plan here? I don't think any of us are exactly warm.
Zeal is just squinting at this place like he's not sure if he's going to like it or not once you stop being wet.
I mean,
But he is
Riley can
kind of
just-
warmer than the rest of you.
Riley can kind of just sit somewhere and just set his feet on fire with blaze cake. That's a thing he can do.
Tucker just kind of helps press Zeal against both him and Brooke and just kind of remarks to him, if you can just try to make a bit of fire around yourself. Not too much, but he's struggling to talk, shivering as he says his words.
I imagine there is a whole lot more stuttering involved in that.
If you can, yeah, I technically can stutter, but it requires a weird vocal tick.
No, it is okay. It's just, I personally imagine, like, oh dear, Tucker is that cold. Because I have
Yeah,
been
like
that cold before where my teeth chatter involuntarily.
And he's got some big fangs to clack too. So
Tucker learned Ice Fang. It was super effective on himself.
Aw.
So, Riley, would you say you are a literal foot warmer?
Yes, I will literally foot warm. Also, I will wrap myself in my cloak and then set myself on fire.
Riley bundles up in his cloak. Please roll accuracy on your blaze kick, just because principles.
What happens if I crit?
Hooray, you have a foot bonfire.
Oh wow, that's pretty bad.
Wow, curse of 2.
Yo, the ones!
Well, at least they're out of the way. Thankfully, 6s are unmitigated successes, and I like it that way. So, Riley, you just, like, set your feet out and light them on fire with Blaze Kick and keep it that way. Unfortunately, this sort of concentration takes your concentration away from the sword, so it just sort of swoops back into the shell.
That's fine. Some things are more important. I mean, now I have caused a campfire and it's me, so...
Well,
Everyone huddle, I guess?
it is draining to keep this up, but at least you're warm for now.
That's fine, I don't have to keep it up forever. If Ralph, hurries. Ralph.
Yeah, I'm hurrying. I'm getting food.
Yeah, pile everyone over Riley, there we go.
Zeal just facing inward, and as his teeth chatter, they start to spark, and there's some flame around them. something, oh hey, look, the prince may or may not know Firefang.
Not bad for his teeth.
So, Ralph, you're going to be looking
Marshmallow
for...
Kick over his feet.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Marshmallow on a stick over his feet.
You don't have marshmallows.
Yeah,
You wish you had marshmallows.
Yeah, that image just came to my mind. Also, Also, the image of, oh man, I didn't think those athlete foot commercials were literal.
So,
Yeah, the ones that like actually show the persons.
how do you want to go about finding wood that is suitable for a campfire?
Let's see here. Using my awesome brain power here to figure this out. I suppose, maybe. I could maybe bark? Or.
You actually know how to find firewood, or you just...
It's okay.
He's just winging it.
Oh god.
I mean, I know how to find firewood in a place that isn't, snowing.
So here's the thing. I don't know if Ralph as a character would know how to find firewood.
Canadian face bombing.
Because...
He wasn't exactly the outdoorsy type.
Based on what I know of Ralph, he wasn't exactly a Boy Scout.
No.
So...
He was more computer club.
So... Give me... a... smart... No. Give me a... insight, survival, nature, and instinct.
While he does that, Firefang's random says cuddle to Tucker, and I'm realizing that Tucker does try to cuddle up to the group, but he's also basically a giant water-soaked blanket at this point, and he realizes that. So he kind of goes between wanting to nuzzle up to body warmth to kind of being worried that he's just going to soak everyone else even worse.
If he slinks away, Riley will grab him by the face and drag him over.
The dog kind of whimpers and expresses, maybe I should get a haircut later. This much fur isn't always a good thing.
I think that you would want the haircut while you were overheating in the desert.
I didn't mind that as much.
If you say that to the other guy covered in fur and with a soaked cloak on, yeah. Like, there's a lot of soakedness happening here.
So, pertinent note, Tucker. Riley's paws are cold. They are really cold. And Riley, your feet are warm.
Everything else is probably fucking cold.
Your bones feel cold.
Oh god.
Tucker does indeed notice those cold Riley hands, and the fact that he notices it, even with how cold he is particularly noteworthy.
So,
Cold
Ralph,
compared to you, who is cold. Yeah. Literally chilled to the bone, but I'm chilled bone first.
this is the problem with being steel. Even though you aren't actual steel type yet.
Yeah, I'm Wolverine light here. I got halfway through the adamantium thing.
I never really thought about it. So you're thinking the
You're
steel
not
types can have...
steel, but your bones are still pretty cold.
So, for everyone who isn't Ralph,
He's been excluded because of his pun. Go on.
yes, well, he's been excluded because he has thick fat. Everyone who isn't Ralph, I need you to roll me either a vitality or a toughness check.
Oh.
Vitality or toughness.
Okay, vitality then.
Well, it definitely is more fitting that Raleigh is attempting to act tough when he actually is warm, so let's go tough. If I get a 0, I swear to God. Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna fucking die.
Brooke comes. I'm starting to think we underestimated how cold this type mission was going to get.
Fucking freeze to death.
I thought my fur would help, but not this wet. It can't help at all.
Oh boy!
We're all fucked. We're all
So-
gonna die.
Wow, Tucker had the best roll? That's not good.
In spite of the blaze kick thing going on, in spite of Zeal trying to actually keep his fire going, the three of you end up starting to accumulate a layer of frost that crunches when you move and adjust yourselves and try to huddle together and you shiver. All three of you take 1 damage.
Oof. What was
Ooh,
Zill's
I better
What was
hurry.
Zill's roll was asked. I don't know if
Zeal is currently using Fire Fang, and he is a fire type.
Oh.
He is doing everything he can to warm back up after the drizzle woods.
Tucker winces as he feels the cold really start to get to him. Oh, and there's a line for Brooke.
Brooke stands up. You know what? Let's just go back to the rainy part of the forest where it's warmer.
Well, unfortunately, it was getting colder as we went through the forest, so it's not that much warmer if we
I
just
didn't
back
mean to
up a
point.
bit.
It's true.
Yeah, we have to trek back and not
You
roll.
would have to trek back. And I should probably make note of this. It's not like several minutes passed while you were trekking through Drizzle Woods. It was several hours. It's getting darker.
I just realized
Oh.
something. Yeah, that too. It's also, we're losing light and thus temperature from that.
Brooke's turn to whine.
Tucker actually observes Zeal's use of Fire Fang and sort of thinks about it for a second. Zeal? How do you do that? Maybe...
How do I do what?
Fire Fang. You're using it, right?
And then he stops, and you all realize there's a temperature drop when he stops. It normally wouldn't matter much, but in your current state, it's noticeable. Don't stop, Brooke says. Well, how am I supposed to explain this when I have to keep doing it? And it just devolves as he keeps doing it.
Okay, maybe don't answer the question. He kind of nods to what Brooks said. Tucker, oh, there's another line.
Just be quick about it, Brooke says. And Zeal stops again and takes a big breath. Well, I'm using Fire Fang because everyone else uses Fire Fang because they want to cook their meat when they bite it, and so it's easy to eat. But I'm using Fire Fang right now so I can cook the air. So I can cook the air, not to eat it, but so the air stops freezing me. I'm cold. You do the crunchy crunch with your teeth, and it makes sparks, and the sparks make fire, and you make the fire bigger, and you burn the thing because you do bitey sparks and crunchy crunch 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 crunch, and then he starts doing it again just because.
Probably to the relief of everyone.
Yes. Riley, you feel incredibly stiff with like your legs jutting out doing the whole blaze kick thing.
Tucker does a nod to what Zeal said, though it's almost hard to tell the nod's happening with all the shivering he's doing. Go ahead, Riley. I think I heard something there.
I mean, it's probably worth mentioning that Riley at this point really is not moving.
Wait, didn't Riley touch Tucker with those bone cold paws at one point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Tucker is observing Riley's condition as well as everyone's.
Riley is not moving.
So
Fire is still on, though.
I'm going to pause your observations so I can get back to Ralph.
Yes, let's see what Ralph is actually doing.
So Ralph, and I apologize for taking so long. It takes you a bit, and you realize that while you're still relatively close to the Drizzle Woods, snow doesn't exactly leave wood damp in the same way that rain does.
Mm.
So, if you can collect a few low-hanging branches, all it would take probably is to get some of it near one of the two in the party who can make fire, or, you know, make fire yourself if you can manage it, to dry it off enough that you can light it up. But if it's low-hanging twigs and branches, it probably won't be much of a fire either.
Well, I'm gonna like fill my arms as quick as I can. Maybe like shimmy around under the snow to see if there's already fallen twigs.
Okay. Give me another insight, survival, nature, instinct.
I just imagine him very quickly like jumping up, getting a few branches, and then digging around through the snow, looking for some more, like trying to be as quick as possible. Like 1, 2, 3, just a few more.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is starting to take you a while, whether or not you realize it, to get enough in your arms to be satisfied with it. So focused are you on your task. Well, I see why Lizard and Hot Dog didn't want to come. Even if they'd be really useful right now, he says, with perhaps a bit of resentment. And you have every right to be resentful, because Zeal is perhaps one of the worst party members to be consistently warm.
Eddie,
Tucker, do you want? Let's actually let Ralph have more of a seat.
Yeah, I think after I have like enough that I think a small fire can get started, I'm just gonna rush back with that. I can go back and get more if I need to. I'm just gonna start putting them around his legs, his feet, just like put a little teepee of wood.
Did you arrive that fast? What?
As you all are conversing and trying to keep warm and Tucker's trying to figure out Firefang, Ralph comes rushing back, making a trail through the snow that is accumulated around the ground. And thankfully, a small clear area has been made by the heat of the party members, and he begins piling up the tinder at Riley's feet, and it starts to go up relatively quickly.
Sorry, that was the quickest way to do it.
There is a creeping relief as a very small area of warmth begins to be made by this relatively tiny campfire.
Okay, I'm gonna go get you more. And then we'll maybe like make a snow wall to help keep the warm in.
As he leaves, Tucker kind of expresses, "Thanks, Ralph."
No problem. We can't all be as well off as me. He pats his thumb.
Tucker kind of bends an ear to that. Like, I thought that would help too. He kind of expresses about himself. And Tucker actually does acknowledge Brooke's statement as well. We just need more fire. And I think he kind of just cuts himself off and starts clattering his teeth harder, not from the original shivering he was doing. Even with the fire going, he is still desperately cold, but he's now starting to chomp his toothers down rather forcefully, trying to keep in mind what Zill said about creating a spark. Fortunately, he has very strong toothers, so he can do that.
Hey, Tucker. Do you want to spend experience right now?
I think this is a good time for that.
cool. I like even numbers. Spend 44 experience.
I was actually wondering what the cost would be. Okay.
It's because I like even numbers and I'm mildly OCD.
That would put me down to 50? Yeah, 50.
Yep. It's also a relatively large amount, so give me a sec.
I mean, that's fair. It's kind of around that point. And the booth cost prices for later booths. If you like even numbers, Kai, spend 4 to learn Flamethrower, says Kai.
No. Unfortunately, the Fang moves are mystery cost moves, so I kind of have discretion.
Was that how those were supposed to be? I never was sure what that meant by the question mark. Was that just basically DM decides? Is that what that means?
It means they can be obtained, but they can't generally be learned just by experience gaining, like everything else. Mostly because those moves tend to be things that were egg moves or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I forget how Puccina can learn those moves in the original games.
They can also learn it via TM.
I was going to say, I think there's TMs for the Fang moves, so it's probably one way. Well, as Tucker really clacks his teeth together, eventually he feels a bit of warmth in his mouth. Let's see what the roll we get here. Wow. One of the better rolls of the session.
Impressive.
Excellent. So, Tucker, you're trying to use this move, and you feel a familiar sensation in spite of the numbness that has been creeping into your body. It's the sensation of connection. You don't see it, mostly because it's very hard to turn your shivering head to look. But you feel it. There's a tendril of connection that is bonded with zeal. You understand what zeal was trying to tell you, not necessarily in a logical sense, but in an intrinsic sense. And you channel your own inner warmth. And flames begin to lick at the edges of your mouth, in ways that you've seen it do with other fire types. It's warm. And it feels warm in your chest. But it doesn't burn. At least, it doesn't burn you. Everyone else gets to watch as the pooch uses Fire Fang and they start having black fire pouring out of their mouth like drool.
Black fire.
Creepy.
Interesting. Tucker does almost seem to startle himself as he reaches the warmth, feeling a singeing sensation that is not actually a burn in his throat and his mouth, but almost like the sensation one gets when they get a burn. That sort of kind of prickly feeling, but without any damage. It does startle him for a moment, but then he does it again. And again. Slowly gain a little more confidence over the sensation.
Whoa. You actually did it? Rook says. Hey, you guys are doing great. Keep it up, he says, giving the 3 heat sources a bit of bravado. I take it you are using your bravado. Wonderful.
Actually, it's a good point.
I am not going to make him roll accuracy for that one. Teamwork makes the team warm. Yes. So. That's all allies. I'll let that go for Ralph's next wood search roll.
Ooh.
So when you next do your Insight, Survival, Nature, Instinct, you get an additional 2 dice.
Nice.
Tucker does stand a little taller now. He was slouching quite badly due to his condition, but now starting to feel warmth within himself. That helps immensely to cut through the cold in his fur. He does keep it up, giving a little bit of a nod, and continues to strike his teeth together like flint. In fact, one could argue that the strikes he's getting may be even bigger than what Zeal can achieve with those smaller cattish teeth compared to his own.
Casual flex
Ralph
on.
feels like people are talking about him while he's not around. Obviously, it can only be encouraging things.
Will you ever strike 2 pieces of flint together that are really small compared to 2 pieces that are really big? The sparks go much further.
Yeah. This casual canine flex over feelings.
Felines have very
Well-
dainty teeth by comparison.
They do, but they're sharp.
Oh, they're sharp as hell.
They freaking hurt. But I would make the comparison more like feline flint, canine obsidian.
Ooh, I like that. Also, it is
Especially
worth...
since Puchiana and Mightyena are known for their bite.
They have particular... Well, I mean, they're known for their... They have particular... I mean, they got fangs that stick out of their mouth. They're so big, so, yeah. Actually, on that note, Tucker would probably have the most fire coming from the sides of his mouth towards the back, because that's where the biggest teeth are. The biggest strike of the spark is there.
Oh, shall I do
Yes.
the firewood looking roll?
Yes, go ahead and make your roll.
The little clickers, I know those. Man,
No
chemistry
ones.
class is good.
No ones!
Well, there weren't any ones. So cool.
Okay, Ralph.
Amazing roll.
You have much more success this time, as in part of your desperation to get more firewood that will last you all through the night, given how late it's become. At some point, you end up just hopping and grabbing a low branch, and it breaks off for you.
Nice.
And if you can break it up into further pieces, it'll probably serve as enough firewood to get you all through the night without freezing.
Excellent. We're gonna bring that back.
Ralph returns, dragging back with him an actual branch of a tree that looks like it would be fit for a proper bonfire. Bonfire lit. Enemy slain. The great cold.
Victory achieved.
Oh man.
But, Tucker was... I was actually going to say, as this all happens, Tucker is actually going to focus... This would look very threatening under different circumstances. But he's going to gnash his jaws right next to Riley's paws. He's noticing, given that Riley's condition may be the worst out of the group, after all, he's barely talking, if at all.
Oh, he's not. No. Nor is he moving.
If his feet are still under the fire, I'm gonna gently pull him backwards.
That's for the best at this point. He's
Yeah.
going to immolate at this rate.
So, Ralph, when you pull Riley back, Riley's posture doesn't change.
Oh no, you know what? Hold on, wait. Let's get rid of this. All right.
Look at that. No! Come on! Oh,
I didn't even think of that.
oh, it's terrible.
Alright, I'm going to hold.
Get off of me.
I'm going to hold this stiff Riley into my chubby embrace and like try to thaw him being next to the fire.
Okay.
Okay, when he hits me really hard in the head, it's good.
Well, Riley, you are being hugged and warmed up. You are stiff. It does not feel like your body wants to cooperate with the cold.
Yeah, I gathered that.
Tucker, like I said, is basically biting really close to Riley, which would look intimidating, but he's doing it obviously in support.
I mean, it's not like he's telling you to stop. I don't think he could tell you to stop anyway, but he's not.
He's doing. Tucker's also doing quite the doggo pant as he does so, kind of controlling his breaths just right as he does these harsh bites in between. And then just kind of huffing out the flames, trying to lick them across his arms. Almost like a pseudo-fire breath.
So, I'll say this. Riley, your feet have gone out. You're feeling exhausted, not just by the cold, but by having to keep that up for so long. And it kind of makes you realize that maybe part of the reason that fire Pokemon don't usually always have their fire moves going is not only for, practical purposes, but just the sheer amount of energy necessary to keep it up.
I mean, that makes sense.
I guess it depends on the move, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like Fire Fang, I feel like it's more based around exertion of kinetic energy to create that flame.
Yep.
But something like he was probably using his own personal.
Which,
energy.
as I was about to bring up,
Converting.
Tucker, this is physically exhausting for you.
Yes,
Not only
definitely.
are your jaws starting to hurt, but the rest of you is starting to feel sapped of energy. Hey, Ralph. What are the chances that you can use a weather move? Or casts?
And Ralph is like, dial-up noise.
I feel like Ralph is actually calculating it.
Perhaps.
God.
Also, Iron Lucario, I don't think that would happen purely because of what Tucker is doing at the moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say no, not really. Well, his tongue is lolling out as he doggo pants can be very powerful things, and he's using that to basically roll the flames. But no, he's not doing that. Also, his tongue is probably a bit too hot for that to happen. Tucker is physically exhausted himself, but at the very least, he has created warmth inside himself, which is why he's more focusing on seeing where he can spread that warmth to others. When he hears what Brooke suggested, partially because we're waiting on what Tubby's going to say, but that does give him an idea. And even though he is a bit exhausted, he pauses his repeated fire fangs, partially because his jaws hurt so much at this point. As durable as they are, being Poochyena jaws, but he's going to take a moment to actually use Dark Pulse again. Let's see if this works.
Make Dark Pulse at a -4.
Okay. Oh, wow. Alright, I was wondering if there might be a penalty. Alright, that's gonna be 3 dice then. Let's see.
You are barely capable of dredging up the energy to generate Dark Pulse.
Tucker works conservatively with the limited stores he has, and forms just a minor but somewhat dense, a thin but dense wall or dome of Dark Pulse around the surroundings. Essentially, he's trying to catch the heat and keep it around the group of the fire.
Unfortunately, especially with a roll like that and in your current state, as much as Tucker tries to draw out Dark Pulse and create even just a thin layer, it's just too unstable and foggy. It's interspersed with holes, and you can barely get it in even a hemisphere around a portion of your little camp
Mm.
before it just becomes too much strain for you to be able to make it go any further.
The dog lets out a sigh after trying for a moment and just lets it dissipate.
Respond to Brooke here.
Yes.
I could probably get. I have a pretty decent shot, and I can do it without putting my surroundings in too much danger. Why is this hitbox so weird?
It's because of the statue, I believe.
Statue is like a massive.
Yeah, the
massive-
statue is really wonky.
Statue's pretty crazy. I'll move back to normal, Riley.
Put it back.
It's honestly partially just a joke.
Let me just. Like that.
Hey,
Oh, I reactivate when I move.
Just position and fate.
There we go.
nice.
I trust you. We could use any help you got, Brooke says.
Alright, so I will roll a status metronome.
If you get hail, I swear to God.
Make it worse. Oh man. Are there any status moves that just freeze you?
I don't think so.
Like
actually.
No.
Will-O-Wisp, but for freezing?
No. Freeze is the one status that does not have a move like that. And probably with good reason, because unfortunately, as difficult as it is to get freeze going with normal ice moves, it's a pretty powerful status. At least in the games.
Alright, let's see here. Where is my metronome? Text fight channel. Wait, is that right? No, I rolled one more than I needed to.
I'm not going to worry about it. That is a
I
grand
think you should
success.
It's at least a 4,
Yeah.
depending on where you want to be about it, so.
I'm gonna like
So
I'm gonna
Ralph,
think sunny thoughts.
Ralph, roll will.
Let's take a look. Where is alright, 3.
Yep.
Alright, I will do my best.
Okay. So, this is a silly question, but physical element or special element? So, physical element is things like rock, steel, normal, fighting. Special element is, like classical element style stuff.
Alright, we'll go with special element because we want sun, fire, heat.
Okay. I have to ask this because, for those who are unaware, all the evolutions are special type element. That's the reason there hasn't been a dragon one, or a bug one, or a steel one, because those are all physical element.
Wow, I never really thought about it, but you're right. Huh.
Yep. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Okay. Do you want to reroll?
I feel like the correct answer is yes.
Cool.
It's like a game show. The answer is always yes.
Go ahead and roll another die.
Just one die?
Yep.
I feel like when the DM asks that, it's yes.
Unfortunately, for the selection rolls, you can't. So, unfortunately, currently, as you reach out with the energy at your disposal and the energy around you, it is so predisposed to ice that you feel your metronome veering in that direction.
Can I cut it off before it gets there?
Roll me another will and then expend a will point.
Yeah, to just like shut it down, abort.
If it can be skewed one direction, perhaps it can be skewed another. Do metronome next to the fire cat.
Don't stand it in the fire.
There you go.
Okay.
I don't think I'm that resistant to fire, guys.
Well,
Go
guess
ahead
who
and-
isn't very resistant to cold? The guy who's frozen.
Go ahead and expend your will point. I'll let you do the selection roll again.
I mean, do I want to risk trying again?
If you don't want to risk trying again, you can just stop it.
I mean, if you roll selection to ice twice, that's just unlucky.
The first selection roll was the one I did, and it caught the same number.
Oh.
Third time's the charm?
I'm gonna ask leader. I'm gonna turn. It's like, yeah, I'm trying the metronome. It's hard to explain, but it wants to go to more ice. Yeah, I could try again, but it took a lot to pull it back and cancel the spell.
So you are canceling the metronome.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I canceled the metronome so it doesn't land on hail. I'm kind of asking Brooke, like, if I should try again. Like, should I take the risk and try again?
That's a good question. Because it is starting to get dark. And you guys don't really have a shelter. You only have this campfire.
Actually, you know what I should do? Something more. A little more direct, a little more practical. I'm gonna build up a,
Brooke smiles. It's fine. If you think it won't work, then maybe we shouldn't push it.
Right now. I can't do it. Something so risky right now. I'll get better at it. I'm pretty sure I can get my metronome pretty accurate. Alright, I'm gonna build a wall of snow around this. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna build a snow wall.
Cool. Smart survival logic, because I know that you do not have anything under survival. Ralph being the absolute star of this show.
The fat came in very handy. What the fuck?
So,
I have like little carvings and stuff on the inside of the snow wall.
I should remind you all of Ralph's background. He helped to make things. This is just making things. It's like doing a blueprint, but in 3D. And there's so much snow, and it's the perfect kind too. It's not too dispersed, it's not too thickly packed by default, so it's not hard for you to create effectively at least a wall around the perimeter where there's still snow.
Maybe a smidge of a dome, like not a complete dome, maybe like curves in a little bit to cave the heat in.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Unfortunately,
that as it melts a little, as the outer layer melts because of the campfire, it's possible it may become a little bit more icy and maybe a little. You could form a little bit of a dome with that. Technically,
I can't claim to know the architectural, structural crap involved in making an igloo dome that functions, but I also don't think Ralph knows either. So.
Yeah.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Snow insulates really well, so it can keep in heat, strangely enough.
Yes. Heat rises, unfortunately, so without a ceiling, the heat is going to rise, but you are going to be insulated from wind and, a lot of badness, as well as, you are correct. When the snow melts and sort of freezes and reforms, it's going to become more stable.
Yeah, Ralph knows that much, I should think.
Once the wall starts forming, Brooke will help by spraying it with freezing water to help solidify things. Cool. Brooke, add a tick to Ice Gun plus Leer.
Nice.
At this point, Prince Seal is still shivering, but he's just laying by the bonfire. Riley, you are getting feeling black slowly in your limbs. It's like the sensation of your foot going to sleep, but all over your body, so you are covered in pins and needles right now.
Oh, that's awful.
It is awful. You can even feel it on your eyelids.
Oh,
Tucker will. So one thing to help him out.
Kill me.
Tucker will hopefully. Tucker will actually be hunkering down on the ground just to reduce surface area that's exposed to cold. In the process, though, he's probably going to kind of partially lay on Riley, whether or not Riley will complain, just to try to help warm him up a bit.
I don't think he can complain. Physically, I don't think he could.
I know. Nonetheless.
On the bright side,
I expected Raleigh to be the first one to freeze to nearly death. I thought it would be Brooke.
On the bright side, Ralph, not only is your roll super excellent, but you guys have set up a camp right next to something of a natural hill and, near to a few trees, so you don't need to build as much. You can use your natural surroundings to create the other portion of the barrier.
Nice. I'm gonna since my roll is really high, I'm gonna etch little pictures into the side of the ice wall because I rolled an 8 and I want to be fancy.
Tucker will pipe up to Ralph as Ralph kind of builds those walls high enough. Ralph, you might be able to put across large branches on top. That might keep the heat in a bit better. If he could manage to chip off some larger tree branches, that could be a useful covering on top of the walls to create that top that we also covet.
So, give me a tough or a vitality roll at the moment, Ralph. No, you know what? In fact, give me a vitality plus tough roll.
How's he doing? He's been working hard.
How are you doing? You have been working very hard.
Let's see.
Your energy is flagging. It's cold. You don't mind this cold so much, but it's also dark. And it's getting harder to see. You could probably do as they request, but you've been doing a lot tonight.
Yeah. I give it a shot. It's like I feel like he's about to decline. And he looks down at the nearly frozen to death Riley. Yeah, I better do it. I mean, he'll be fine now, but like the least I could do is, make
I
it
wonder
more
if-
comfortable.
I wonder if there's a way the magnet could produce some light since it's dark.
Unfortunately, it is a magnet. It is not a light bulb.
Yeah, it might be able to conduit with something else, but not by itself.
Alas, it is not the battery.
That's not how a magnet works.
Tucker is not Tucker does not know how magnets work.
How do
Alright.
magnets work?
Magnets, how do they work?
So, give me another insight survival, and instead of instinct this time, use logic.
Yeah, because I'm making a thing.
Kyrio, what is this comment in the stream chat? Ralph has made a masterwork egg glue. This art is named Riley's Last Stand. It depicts a squirrel surrounded by 23 spikes. I get the reference. Holy crap.
Oh wow.
Oh, dang.
I don't get the reference, but I
That
feel
is
like
a
I should.
that is a Dwarf Fortress reference.
Oh no, I've never played Dwarf Fortress, so those all fly over my head. I just know it's insane. So Ralph, rather than just looking for branches, you're looking for branches that have a bunch of the coniferous needles and things to provide better cover.
Yeah. Bows.
Bows.
Bows. Thank you. That I play a game where in the early game you collect those. So they're a common building material. I could not know how to pronounce them for the life of me. So bows.
Yep. Even though it's spelled like boofs or something, because
Yeah,
Bough.
Yeah.
Freaking
English is weird.
English is weird.
All right, now when I play Haven and Hearth again, I can impress all my friends by actually knowing how to.
You managed to
Jump
find not one, not two, but three boughs that have sufficient pine needle and length to go over the walls of your igloo.
Hey, I'm gonna come back with those, affix them.
Bonus.
So,
This actually gives enough space that the fire won't be deprived of oxygen and burn out.
yep, and it's not like it's going to suddenly flare up and kill you guys in your sleep either.
Though to be honest, if the roof became on fire, I think all of us would just be like, "Oh, this is nice."
Yeah.
This is fine. Thankfully, this is the start of cold where that's unlikely to happen, and your fire is not nearly large enough to make it happen.
Okie dokie. I think that's good. Oh man. I'm actually gonna step back, admire what I made, and then step back in.
Good work, Ralph. Tucker says quite tiredly.
Okay.
As a
Yeah,
forewarning, I'm gonna do a music change so that Charem doesn't get suddenly shifted somewhere without warning.
Sleeping sounds good. Oh, I can't. Right, the movement thing. The one downside of the pick up and they run thing. But sure, music change. That's fine.
Also, there's a comment made earlier. Someone-
Events. Sorry, events one number 35. Go ahead, Rolf.
or someone put in quotes my spider, and then quoted it as Ralph, probably. That was a
I hate it. Thank you.
Just to let you know, I saw that earlier. It's funny.
135, you said?
Yep, events one number 35, which
Okay.
should be peaceful winds.
Yeah.
I think we'll survive the night at least. Great job, everyone, Burke says. Rest up for now. We'll have to figure out how to fight the cold better or we'll be stuck here.
Probably still
You are
like
correct.
face down at the ground. Somebody moved him at this point.
Riley, you do have sensation back in your limbs thanks to the campfire and the enclosure.
Probably should be face up, that's a little safer.
It is at this
Okay.
point that you feel like you can actually relax and pass out.
I'm gonna pass out right next to the fucking fire.
This may or may not be a good idea.
Like danger close.
It's fine. Makes your bones warm.
What I like is that
Yeah, I do need to reheat my bones.
what I like is that when I flip Riley over when he's in the faint state, he kind of sinks into the table. And since we're in the sea right now, it looks like he's a drowned corpse.
It's not too unfitting, to be honest.
Yep. So you all have a peaceful night, for the most part. Hang on. So is Brooke actually going to sleep? Or can they not sleep because they went from too hot to delightfully wet to too cold?
All in one day.
You all traveled a great distance. Brooke will take first watch. He kind of did the least here. That's fine.
You're the only one who didn't either build a whole ass cabin or spend all their energy constantly emitting fire while somebody else made a cabin.
Yeah, spending all the energy learning a new move in desperation of the environment.
He is the cheerleader. Yes, you are. So, for that reason, give me insight, survival, instinct.
We have someone else wanted to share our igloo question mark, then charge them rent.
It's effectively.
I mean, if this thing is still there. Wow, the cursive too. You are tired. And as you sort of look at some of the little pictures that Ralph has made in the sides of the wall, they start to sort of blend together in a strange and alien way. And just at the edges of your hearing, there's static. You feel like you can hear rather than feel the presence of augmentation. A deep, aquatic rumble. For a moment, there seems to be a trick of the light when things are just a bit dimmer. And as you glance up, the markings of the pictures are ever so slightly aglow. And you see a pair of large eyes peering at you from the holes in the roof. And then you jolt awake, realizing that you drifted off for but a moment. Tucker, as you sleep, you receive something similar. But rather, instead, you're sitting there in this half igloo, and in the place of the bonfire is connection. It's watching you, quietly. Its main, rather than being connections to the stars, is a gently burning bonfire, reaching up into the black void of space high above. And Ralph?
Alright.
You dream your dreams, as you usually do.
Yeah.
But everywhere in your peripheries, be it audible or visual, there's the fringes of static and alien symbols that you didn't realize you were drawing.
Oh my god.
Here and there, on walls, on the ground. And sometimes, when you manage to notice them, even on individuals. For once, out of all of you, Riley is the one who gets to dream peacefully.
Well,
That's right. Riley's the only one shit didn't happen to this time.
we just have the normal amount of things happening to Riley. Pokes at his forehead. I don't know, maybe nearly freezing to death makes all the turmoil go away for a little while.
Remember, if you want to sleep peacefully, freeze your bones. Please don't. Please don't actually, but also I'm used.
Honestly, if it is canonical that he is actually getting a peaceful night's sleep after nearly freezing to death, that might set a very unhealthy precedent.
I mean, you're probably just so exhausted you can't do anything but sleep peacefully.
There are no dreams. There is just...
Yeah, Riley, you're gonna be one of those people where you wake up and you don't remember any sort of dream that you had. You're pretty sure that Tiber probably spoke to you or something, but you have forgotten. Or maybe it wasn't even anything, and you were just sitting there with him.
By yelling about me nearly freezing to death.
Maybe. You don't remember. And you know what? That's okay.
Fantastic.
Your dream is that meme of the girl yelling at the cat, but it's Tiber yelling at you.
No.
God.
No. But the night, regardless of how the watches turn out, and if any of you are exhausted at all by your sleeping experiences, it goes by peacefully. Luckily enough, the wind doesn't particularly pick up too much, but it's just enough that the snow isn't really falling into the igloo constantly. The campfire manages to go all night. Thanks to Ralph's many strenuous efforts to keep you all alive. Though by morning, all that's left is just a bit of wood and embers that are slowly starting to gutter out. As you all wake to greet the next day, a biting reminder of where you are starts to creep back into your bodies
Great.
as the brisk, sunny morning in this forest of snow begins. And that is where we're going to end the session tonight.
Ooh.
Everybody take 4 frickin' experience for the excellent roleplay. And just
Didn't have to do anything, you just have to freeze to death. Hell yeah.
and just generally making it through this session without anyone almost dying.
I'll speak for yourself.
Defined almost.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was pretty heavy on the almost there.
Let me tell you this, if Ralph had needed to go out or make more rolls, you would have lost more HP every time.
Right.
Did we rest well enough to recover our HP back?
You will rest well enough to get your 1 HP back.
Okay.
Because you had a fire because you had shelter.
You know, actually,
So-
that shelter may have improved over time, because if snow was falling on top of the tree branches, then that would actually just make more of an insulation.
Oh, collapse killed us all.
It could have, but it didn't.
Collapse it kills. Well, I mean, depends on how large the branches are.
With how Ralph rolled, no, not collapsing.
You got nice thick branches, they're probably gonna hold up. However, getting out might be a case of dropping a lot of snow on ourselves.
Actually, in fact, because Ralph managed to make you guys an excellent shelter, Ralph, get a 5th experience point.
Nice.
Also, I expect everyone to add their own experience. So the tables are working. The table is working correctly today.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Yeah, by the time we get back, I should be able to get what I'm saving up for.
Finally fulfilled the second half of my little poem on my character sheet.
Oh, geez, I didn't even think of that.
Wait, what's that?
That poem isn't even necessarily relevant anymore.
Yeah, you say that. Yeah, here we are.
Also, the little card of our Pokemon Space Side is super useful. Thanks. Yes, I didn't comment on that, but I added
Yes.
that. Yes, you can
They
actually.
are lovely.
They can be flipped. Also, Kyrio, flip, boop. See, when you evolve, there you go.
With blood chilling unto ice, yep.
So yeah, just yeah. I did that for everybody. You can flip your card over for. Whoops! I did not mean to expand the chat.
I have entirely, like, 4 more things I can even use off of this, and I've got everything.
What size was that supposed to be at? Oh, well, I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, that is very, very handy, by the way. Thank you for that.
You're quite welcome. I realized that we were constantly having to pull the books out for this information, so Yeah.
1 more point insight, 4 more moves, and then I'm done. I have everything. I will become peak Riolu.
Yeah, you are basically becoming peak Riolu.
I'm basically there already, to be honest. Like,
Just means the experience you accrue can go to undoing those primal points.
yeah, that's 100 XP right there.
was that the size of the box? I think it was about that. I accidentally resized my chat box, and I can't remember what size I had it at. Oh well.
So,
I mean, see image directly above where Primal's at, and you'll see where we're sort of standing on that situation so far.
What about Primal?
You know, undoing the whole Primal thing with Riley. It's not really thematically there yet. It really isn't. Not even close.
Fair enough.
Let's see, 2 more of my stats could get points. Like, I would do insight. But I have most of what I want until I want to evolve, but there is one move that I want to get before I evolve.
Saving for that move.
12.
So,
1, 2, 3, 4.
I hope you all had a good session, and I hope this has
Oh, there we go.
brightened your evenings.
Oh, by the way, warning now, I probably will not be able to play next session.
Oh,
I have inventory that week, and there's a good to fair chance I will be coming off of like a 36-hour workday.
I see. Yeah, that's right. You told me. Hey, you're gonna keep me updated about it, so I can keep everybody else updated too. That way.
Well, it's not like on Wednesday. It's like the Monday going into Tuesday. But God knows I will not be feeling any sort of human. But yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see how you feel. We'll see. We'll play it by ear.
believe me. Like my manager
After-
directly told me today. Like odds are I will not be going home. Like at all.
that's gross.
I personally might get mad at you if you don't go home.
Like I will be starting work at 9 a.m. one day on the Tuesday, and then I will be likely coming home at 1 p.m. on Wednesday.
We could do a week early if that is
We-
more viable.
If people want to do it a week early, I can do that. If we just have to take off that week, that's okay, because that's the sort of thing where I look at that and go, wow, I hate that they're putting you through that. And I totally understand you needing to just spend a day doing nothing.
I understand. I'm gonna get home on Wednesday. I'm probably gonna go to bed.
That's probably
Assuming I
fake,
haven't
guys.
like bitten somebody's ears off at that point, because I'm probably gonna be very grouchy after being up for 36. Oh, wait, at work for 36 hours.
Eragon has been stuck with a skeleton crew, and in fact, the whole store is pretty much in that state because of poor mismanagement from outside corporate. It's not really the people in the store's fault, it's just everything outside of that. Corporate meddling to the worst degree, I'd say.
Oh man, I know all about operating on a skeleton crew.
Dear Lord, just... Yeah, so, at the very least, if there is no, next on-time session and we don't end up doing it next week, that's okay. And, if we end up wanting to do it the week after, that's okay. Whatever we end up doing, it'll be okay. Like I keep telling y'all, your health matters more than the game.
Yeah. We can see about next week. I myself... I mean, a lot of crap happened before this stream, so hopefully that stuff doesn't have long-term... A lot of this stuff doesn't have long-term shockwaves I gotta deal with. If so, then next Wednesday may not be good for me, but if not, then it might be okay. So I'll just say that much about it for now. We'll play it by ear.
For sure. And it looks like the move I want to learn before I evolve is actually not available on Snorlax, so it's good I'm learning it now. But
Really?
I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to evolve before then anyway.
Which one is that?
Swallow.
Anyway, I'm going to bed.
Why
Yes,
the
that's
heck
fair.
would Snorlax not...
Good night.
Have a good night, Eric.
And
That is
I'll be right
weird.
back, actually. What you
Yeah,
guys
it
discuss.
seems I can only learn it as a Munchlax. Yeah,
Weird.
after I learn Swallow, I'm going to look at the possibility of being a Snorlax. I'm gonna have that on the table.
Weird, Snorlax doesn't even learn Stockpile. Though they do learn High Horsepower, amusingly enough.
Yeah, and they can be taught self-destruct, apparently.
Please no exploding.
If anything.
Okay.
If anything, Giga Impact would be pretty awesome.
I'm going to leave the table, so I grant my laptop some mild mercy. I have thoughts about Ralph's evolution if you don't want to do standard Snorlax.
I was actually Charem sent me a more cuddly looking Snorlax.
Oh, yeah, I did do that.
concept.
I did find a pretty good one. Like, it felt a little... The traditional Snorlax... The traditional, like, official Snorlax doesn't look very wieldly for a lot of situations, I guess is how I'd put it.
Yeah.
But
He's
the one I
like a
found was...
big beastly tank.
The one I found was a little more practical, I felt. Hey, where did I send you that? Let's see.
And the other thing is, like, normal Snorlax, as has been established, isn't really Ralph?
Yeah. Ralph's got his own thing going. I'll also send it to you, Car. There we go. I'll send what he is talking about to you. There we go.
Oh, I see. And here I thought you were talking about the noodly-limbed Snorlax that I have seen an image of.
I'm sorry. I don't think I'm aware of that one.
But I am okay with this. The other thing is, like, Snorlax is mildly exaggerated anyway.
Also, thanks for participating tonight, Kyrio. I think he's going, so I just let you know.
But yeah. Learning Swallow will it'll mitigate one of the main things holding me back from holding Ralph in character back from being a Snorlax.
Snatch plus swallow plus stockpile. Consumption.
Well, with stockpile and swallow, and yeah, I was kind of keeping this a secret, but like, I'll it'll come up and I'll talk about it at some point. I don't feel it's a huge reveal that I need to keep back, but Ralph is up until like he got stockpile and realized he could learn swallow later. He was worried about how he would, like, how on Earth the Plains continent could sustain a Munchlax without, making everyone else starve. Like, how on Earth does Savantown feed a Snorlax? The answer is they don't.
I am quite glad that Tucker managed to learn an Elemental Fang move. Like, I don't know if you planned a hypothermic environment to be a good inception for this, but Karserus, but that it worked out quite well. The problem with Tucker learning Elemental Fang moves I've expressed to the rest of the group, I'll explain to the audience, is that he needs a reason to learn those. And he's not very combat focused, so it's hard to find reasons sometimes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, I knew you all were going to head up here eventually. So if you mean the whole Fire Fang thing, that wasn't necessarily planned. My brain completely unconsciously went, oh yeah, Zeal knows how to do this. He should probably be doing that because teeth chattering and Fire Fang and Sparks, right?
That was pretty clever, honestly.
Oh man, Severus, Snorlax and Unite is great. Like, if they're not playing super well, you can just straight up camp their goal because you're tanky enough.
In any case, I believe I shall go for the night. And thank you all again for a wonderful session. I hope you all have a good night. Remember to stay hydrated.
Mm-hmm. Thanks again, Kar. This was actually a pretty good session for the hour we did it at.
Yeah, I am very pleased with this session. Well, good night.
Good night. And I am just doing a little bit of, I don't know, casual move rearrangement. Because I realized I was starting to run out of room with my current arrangement, so why not put it back together a different way?
I believe I am going to hop on VR chat for a bit.
Well, you have fun with that.
Yay.
And have a good night to you too, Tubby. There we go. That's a bit of a better arrangement. But yeah, I guess I haven't technically done my outro, so without a rearrangement done. Well, this was a good session, and quite a bit happened, and we got to listen to new music, and I'm always down for new dungeons. New dungeons, new dungeon music. I live for that. Honestly, it's good times. It's I don't know. I picked out. I really tried hard with the dungeon music in particular. Well, all the music I have picked out, I try hard, but specifically for that stuff, because I don't know, man. Dungeon music is some of the stuff I love most in PMD games. Really caps off. Really tends to cap off part of the kind of marks the story points. The different plot points or stuff are kind of capped off by their associated dungeon themes, I find. So, but yeah, that was session 68. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will try to do another session next week to make up for the fact that Eragon can't play in 2 weeks. But we will see, because there's been a number of things stirred, and I don't know how my next week will be. I might really need a 2-day weekend next week, aka not doing Pokerole on Wednesday. But we'll see. We'll just play it by ear. Next session will come soon enough. So just watch out for that. But for now, you all have a good night.